podcast Repousser les limites. Votre animateur, JF Dussault, s'entretiendra avec des athlètes d'endurance et collaborateurs qui gravitent autour de la course en sentier et bien plus encore. Abonnez-vous, partagez l'épisode et bonne écoute.
Let me know when it's accept.
Cool.
Yep, you accept it?
Yep.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah, we're good. Oh, okay. Yep. Yeah, we're good.
Okay, I'm just introduce one sentence in French, and after this we'll go in English. Most of my
Sounds good.
podcasts are in French, but once a while I'm super happy to talk with legendary trail runners. So. Bienvenue à Repousser les limites. This week is a very special episode. I'm very happy to receive one of the 20 finisher of the Barkley Marathon. He also finished 2 times the Badwater. He's 2-time finisher of the Tour des Géants with the podium, 2nd time. He won the Fat Dog 120 mile. He also won the Cruel Jewel, the Orca Island, and many more. He also doing trail running coaching. So Nickademus de la Rosa, welcome on the podcast, and thanks a lot to accept the invitation.
Thank you so much for having me on and everything like that. So lovely to be on with you, and thank you for speaking English with me here. And I apologize in advance for not speaking a lick of French, really.
That's fine. Thank you so much. So I'm curious to know, Nick, how did the sport start in your life?
Yeah. No, it's a great question. I started running and everything like that back in 2000, about 2001. My parents had gone through a divorce, and my mom had been using running as a sort of way to process her own feelings and stuff about the divorce. And she tackled a marathon, and she felt after that marathon and was like, "Oh, I want to do that. I want to, give a marathon a shot." I was only like 13, 14 years old at the time, and I had dabbled with doing a little bit of cross country and track in middle school and high school, but really got after the marathon at a pretty young age. I did my first marathon at 15, and then when I was 18, my senior year in high school in the U.S., a friend of mine was diagnosed with cancer, and I did this big project where I ran 3,000 miles over the school year, which is about 10 months, culminated with a big 100-mile run around a high school track to fundraise money for him and his treatment and stuff that he was going through. So, and then from there, pretty quickly I got some attention from that and everything. And in like 2009, many years ago now at this point, 2009, found my way to the start line, essentially the Badwater 135 at the age of 19, which at the time was one of the younger people in the world to ever do the event. And kind of willed my way through that and finished it and everything. And I was kind of at that younger age, like 19 through 25, pretty obsessed with let's find the world's most difficult events. Let's do the world's most difficult events. So I was, all about Badwater. I had done this one called Plain 100. I'd done the Arrowhead 135 up in Minnesota, which is kind of the opposite of Badwater, a really, really cold event. Kind of like crossing Quebec in the winter or something like that, just super cold. And then through the grapevine at these really difficult events, people were talking about, "Oh, you think Badwater's tough? There's this weird race out in Tennessee called Barkley." And this was in like 2009, 2010, before that race had any like it was a dusty old web page, and like no one knew what the heck this thing was. And and one of my friends who had done Badwater was like, yeah, Barkley's the real thing. That thing will just chew you up and spit you out. And so then I had to, I applied for it back in 2010, and with 2 weeks to go until the race, I was a junior in college, and I got notification, hey, your spot's up on the wait list. You want to come out? I'm like, oh man, I gotta go. And so I booked my flights. I took the time off from school or whatever it was. I think it landed around spring break, so it wasn't too big a deal. And yeah, I flew out there. I tried to learn as much as I could about orienteering and map navigating. I knew nothing. And I read up a bunch on the regions like geology and the flora and the fauna and the flowers that grew at different. I just tried to learn as much as I could about Frozen Head State Park in the 2 weeks before the event. And yeah, showed up, really kind of curious more than anything else back in 2010, and I was terrified. I remember that first loop as it started, and we went out. I just clung like any sort of sacrificial virgin or virgin runner does at the Barkley Marathons in 2010. I really clung to the front pack of like 5, 6 people that I was with, and I just did not let them go. I was like, I can't let them out of my sight, man. I lose them, and I'm going to be lost out here in these woods. And we got to the garden spot, which was at that year, it must have been like book 2 or 3. It wasn't so complicated as it is now to get to the garden spot. And I took a weird turn and ended up alone off the backside and panicked. And where the heck did everybody go? Oh, I'm screwed on this thing. And then I fell back and found a different group, and then I stuck with them. And yeah, Barkley's a fascinating race. And anyways, in 2010, I ended up finishing. I did make it through 3 loops that year, which was good enough to get me an invite for the next year, and then kind of got to 4 loops the next year, and then finally in 2013 I finished. So kind of a 3-year process, but I got there.
Cool, congratulations.
Yeah.
So, yes, I think the year of the documentary you're in, right?
Yeah.
You did the fun run this year.
Yeah, exactly. I was like 1 or 2 books off of, I think I was 2 books off that year of doing 4 loops. I like purposely turned down Quitter's Road. I think I had enough time potentially to finish the 4th loop. And purposely turned down Quitter's Road 1 or 2 books short of the 4th loop, and quit because I didn't want my I specifically did that because I didn't want my crew to argue with me about, Nick, you should go out for the 5th loop, you should do it. And so I self-sabotaged, having enough time to finish the 4th loop. I self-sabotaged and walked down Quitter's Road, and I was like, therefore he can't tell me to keep going because I quit. And so you see me kind of like in the documentary, I'm kind of mopey, and my hair's really long. And I purposely, I don't know why I did. I think I did it just to stand out and be a goofball. I wore shorts, everybody's wearing like briar protecting gear, and I wore shorts. So my legs just looked like they were like sliced, man. I've probably still got scars from that. So yeah. Yeah.
Do you still remember your first year at the Barkley?
Oh yeah, man. Yeah. We can go down memory lane with anything you want.
So there was a 1 finisher this year, or it's a year with no finisher?
2010, man. That was the year it was just Brett Mon or Brett
yeah.
I think he was the solo finisher that year. I don't think Jared Campbell was around yet. I think Jared came the next year. I think it was just Brett.
Yes, and Brett came back to do his best time.
Yeah, there was a forest fire or something like that for Brett, like on the 5th loop. Yeah, it was
forest fire.
Yeah. It was like as he was coming up freaking Rat Jaw or whatever it was. There's some sort of fire out near Pighead Creek or whatever it was called. So yeah, so he was like just running through that crap. No, Brett's the real deal, man. He's a hardcore guy. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't see him at all in 2010. He was way up there. But yeah. So
Okay. So how is it for you to see the documentary like 12 years later?
Oh man. Yeah, if I watched it now and everything, Yeah, it's fun watching it and everything. I came back in 2011, or sorry, 2011 was my first year there. I was saying 2010. Man, even my memory is fuzzy. 2011 was the first year I was there. 2012 was the year the documentary was made. Um,
Yeah.
and I came back to my second year at Barkley, my second kind of attempt at the race with a lot of vim and vigor. I came back there with a lot of oh man, I gotta finish this race. I gotta prove myself here. I gotta tear this race a new one. Watching that documentary, I watch it with laughter now these days, because the gun goes off or whatever, and I'm sitting at the start in the front, and you don't even see me bolt off the start line like it's a 5K, because I'm just so full of like, I gotta destroy this race, and that whole first loop, my second year in 2012 at Barkley, I fly past the first book, go in the wrong direction, but I'm so far ahead of everyone else that like, no one else, and then I eventually find the book, but now I'm like towards the back of the pack of Barkley, and then I run through the entire pack on my way to the next book, screw up and miss the second book. And I catch up to the leaders, but I screw up, on the second book, and then I'm back at the beginning of the pack or whatever, and then I find the third book, and I'm back with the leaders, but then I get lost again, and then I'm back with the back of the pack. And so Ed Furtaw jokingly described that, like after I DNF finally in 2012 or whatever it was, he's like, "Man, yeah, Nick, you were just slingshotting back and forth that whole first loop, man." And that was pretty much the experience. It's a race you can go into with like, there's some events you can go into with like, I'm gonna destroy this race and prove myself out there, and Barkley's really not one of those. You have to have a pretty calm, clear head, or else that race and the navigation element of it just sort of just chew you up and spit you out. You got to be real chill and easy. It does not reward anxiety, performance pressure, nerves, any of that stuff. That stuff will just screw you out there.
Yes, of course. And running 100 miler require lots of skills like nutrition, your mindset, your keeping energy. But
Yeah.
a race like Barkley, it's so many elements.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, for sure. It was interesting seeing like just the differences between like, I don't know, my experience in 2012, 2013, which was just like you carried a bunch of water on you back then. Everybody still ran with camelbacks. There was no like front loaded bottles yet. That technology hadn't come out. And so everyone just had camelbacks and just loaded up with like, there was no 90 grams of 120 grams of carbs per hour. I had friggin' burritos from the like El Pollo Loco over in Oak Ridge, and like, I don't know, muffins and just random things on me. And yeah, so I'd be making it through like a loop with that, and versus like 2023 when I went back, for my fourth time there. I had all my fancy gels, had all my water, had my water filtration flask, and it was kind of neat to see just the front pack. Like that's what everyone carried, was just like no one carried water on them. Everyone just carried a little water filter, because there's enough creeks out there that you can just filter water as you need it. You don't need to carry the weight of water on you, which is very different to what I did back in 2012, 2013, where I carried like a liter or two on me and then refilled as I went. So, anyways, it's just been neat to see the sport evolve, and Barkley in some ways evolve with it. But yeah.
And what was different the year you finished at Barkley? Did you have mindset different? What was different for
Yeah.
you?
Yeah, yeah. No, for me at the Barkley Marathons, the year I finished in 2013, it was really this, what was it back then? It was I had I had been curious and kind of afraid of the course my first year in 2011. I was like, oh shoot, I don't know what I'm getting into. Let's see what happens here. And then in 2012, I had been really overconfident and really kind of cocky with the event. Maybe some of my competitors back in the day would say that's how Nick was, and I would agree. And so I came in 2012 with a lot of just like, I'm gonna crush this race, and then the race crushed me. And then in 2013, I feel like I came there psychologically with a little bit of a balance between respect for the race and then confidence, but not to the point of cockiness or anything. Like I can do this, but I'm not gonna brag or make a big deal. I talk about kind of that calm and chill energy. And that's exactly what I had the first loop of 2013. I was not in the lead pack. I was front mid pack, chilling with, a group of virgins or whatever. I perfectly navigated from book to book. I sat down on a bench. I chilled for a little bit, on the first loop. I was just cracking jokes and having a good time with people. Relative, like I was hustling and making it work and stuff. But, and it was the first loop of that was a much more easygoing. Yeah, I got this. We're just getting started. We'll just find these books. It's not a big deal. Just memorize your lines and stuff. And we're getting into this thing. And it was so chill, kind of that first loop. I had a lot of confidence in myself, but again, it was a more chill energy. And then, as the loops progressed, loop 2 and 3, I ran a lot of the race, loops 2 through 4, essentially entirely with Travis Wildeboer, and he was the other finisher that year along with me. And yeah, the two of us worked really, really well together. We kind of sang songs with each other to get each other through the night and stuff. Jared Campbell that year was well ahead of the both of us, but then unfortunately got lost in the fog and turned around and stuff, and didn't end up finishing that year. Where Travis and we came through like 45 minutes behind him, and the fog had blown away, so him and I didn't hit that issue like he had. And yeah, it was a very calm, present energy for a lot of the race. The fifth loop in particular, when I finally did get to that one, the fourth loop, there was definitely, in psychology, they call it kind of the clutch state, or like the dark hour of the soul is what they call it, kind of in movies or something. There was definitely a part there, in that fourth loop where like I'm hallucinating. Things are appearing from behind trees. Like black shaped demon things are like whispering to me. I'm watching sticks turn into snakes and all this crazy stuff, and
Wow.
I hear like a baby crying in the distance. I hear Travis like screaming for me, but he's like not actually screaming for me or anywhere near me at that time. And I'm just like, just make it to sunrise, just make it to sunrise, and my mind's like melting, like you're on some sort of acid trip, but you've not taken any drugs. And that's essentially like the latter half of the fourth loop, and what sleep deprivation and that stuff can kind of do to you. And then on the fifth loop itself, it was as if I'd broken through the storm, and I really hit this. I've hit it very few times in my life, but what's called flow state, that they call in psychology, which is again just everything's clicking, everything's working. You're doing everything flawlessly with ease, and there's just ease and flow between everything. And I kind of described it as I was dancing through the mountains, and just seamlessly, easily getting from book to book to book to book, like without effort, and just it was just I stayed in that state for like whatever it was for that fifth loop, like 10, 11 hours or something. It was pretty awesome. So
Wow.
yeah.
Wow. Congratulations, man.
Oh, thanks,
So
man. Yeah,
impressive.
yeah.
So, have you seen the course change in the 3 years you done it? Your
Oh yeah,
first year? Yeah.
yeah. 2011. Barkley is never easy. Barkley's not an easy race or whatever in any way, in any format that it's ever taken. Laz and his crew of course designers do attempt to make it more and more difficult each time someone finishes. So I kind of used to describe it as like, as we group of collective humans continue pushing what's possible, Barkley is one of the few and fascinating things that pushes back. We might have a race like Western States or UTMB. Those courses are static, and the times come down, and we prove as human beings like, oh, whoa, we can go 15 hours at Western States. Whoa, we can go sub 14:30. Whoa, we're almost at sub 14 hours at Western States or something, you know? And we watch the sport get progressively faster. It would be as if, in the case of Western States, is as if Western States course changed every year so that no one ever broke 15 hours. That's what Barkley does essentially. It changes so that no one finishes, which is the idea, or very few people finish. And in 2011. That was my first year. So in 2012, I want to say they added uh, Cougar Rock in Leonard's butt slide came later. Um, you'd have to almost look back in like Ed Furtaw or Matt Mahoney's book. I can't recall exactly what was added, but there was a change there. I want to say it was Cougar Rock in Leonard's butt slide that were added in 2012, and then 2013 he added the whole that might have been added together now I think of it. Barley Mouth Branch and some other acronyms and things that only mostly Barkers would know what the heck that is. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, cool. So, what was different when you returned like 10 years later?
Yeah, man, a lot of it was the same in some ways. Everyone had gotten older, including myself. So noticed that. Um, yeah, it was just all of a sudden, whether I had matured in the sport or not, but it was looking around and seeing folks like Carl Saab and seeing folks like John Kelly and Aurelian Sanchez and Guillaume Calmedes and these other folks who'd, Jared Campbell, of course, who I knew from much earlier. But seeing a handful of these really, really stellar athletes Jasmine and stuff, of course. And it was just interesting that with Barkley, just it was like a pack of us now. There was like 10 or 11 of us. It felt more like a competitive race on the first loop than and maybe that was my mindset. Maybe that was a mistake that I made again in 2023, similar to what I did in 2012, where that first loop didn't feel chill. That first loop felt very like, oh shoot, this is a race. Like this is a race. These people are my competition. I'm here to race. Whoa. Which isn't like, I mean, you got like 60 hours. It's a long time to think about racing and oh man, these people are a threat. These people are your competition. Like, no, you got to work with those people. They should be your teammates for 48 hours, essentially. You want to make friends with those people. You don't want to compete with those people yet. And maybe that was my own insecurities or own sense of self in 2023. Very much could have been that it was instantly like, whoa, okay, I'm competing here. This is intense. And I made friends with a guy named Aaron who'd finished first in the Barkley Fall Classic and stuff, and had gotten there through that. And he was real nice. Him and I worked through most of the second loop together before I chose to DNF again down Quitters Road. So that's my style, man. I go down Quitters Road. So yeah. Yeah.
So, how many loops you did in 2020?
In 2020, like a loop and a half, basically. Again, it was like, I physically could have gone on mentally. I just kind of hit like I'd screwed up the navigation for Aaron and I. I was navigating from the extended Leonard's butt slide back up to Cougar Rock and onwards to some other books. And I had done one of the classic, this is very common at Barkley, where it's the male ego. And what it is basically, it's, you start going a direction and you've made a mistake. You missed your turn, but your ego tells you, well, this is generally the right direction and I'll just cut over when I need to. I know what I'm doing. I'll just keep going down this road, and it'll be even faster than what we might have normally done. I know we're in the wrong spot, but I know generally where we are, and we'll just cut over and correct that. And the road, the normal route, I think went straight, and Aaron and I, by my lead, just started dramatically going way to the right and went miles off a course before I was like, oh man, Aaron, I'm sorry. I have no idea where the hell I am. I think I've screwed this up for the both of us. And and we got back on course, gathered our book and stuff, and it just kind of left me questioning. I was like, okay, well, I came out here and I wanted to see what had changed in the last 10 years, and the race got a lot freaking harder, and the course at least, or my memory of how hard it was had faded in the last 10 years, which is also possible, and yeah, I was just like, yeah, there's nothing here for me anymore. I'm content with having finished in 2013, and congrats to the people that have finished, since then and everything. But I'm good. I'm going to move on to other things. And but it was nice closure for myself psychologically in that regard. I think I had been wondering for a long time, oh, what if I went back? And I went back and just didn't have the same hunger to finish that I had in 2013 at all. Yeah.
Yeah. And I bet it's one of those races you need this hunger for finishing it.
100%. 100%. Yeah. 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 No, I would for sure say that.
Eh, I'm curious to talk about this with you. How do you compare Badwater and Barkley Marathon in terms of difficulty?
Interesting. Yeah. Badwater versus something like Barkley. Very different. Of course, Badwater, is going to be your classic, you versus the elements. The race has changed its regulations a little bit over the years, from what I understand. The race does start a little bit more at night now because of traffic versus 2009, 2010. They had a permit where they could start kind of mid-morning, and so you got hit in Death Valley in the middle of the day. The course that it is now, you still get hit in like Panamint Valley and Owens Valley, like in the middle of the day, which is totally blisteringly 120, 125 degrees still. Still exceedingly difficult, exceedingly hot. And what was I going to say? So, with Badwater, I think, the thing with Badwater is like you can still finish. They cut it down from, it used to be 60 hours and the time limit got cut down to 48 hours. And I would say perhaps at Badwater, the psychology is interesting. You can have this self pressure kind of. I can imagine it with anyone at any part in the field. It just depends how much how narrow your definition of success is. At Badwater, though, you're a little bit more in control of that yourself. Meaning that, you can say something like, oh, I want to be top 3 at Badwater. And you can put as much pressure as you want on yourself to do that. You can say, okay, I want to be sub 24 at Badwater, which very few people have done. And you can put pressure on yourself to do that. You can say, okay, I want to be sub 30 at Badwater, and put that pressure on yourself or not. Barkley, that pressure that is on you, and that sort of definition of success isn't really in your control as much. It's finishing under 60 hours, and here's the course. Good luck. And it would be as if the RD Chris Gossman over at Badwater, said like, all right, guys, the cutoff for Badwater is 24 hours, and then we would have maybe a similar level of anxiety, collective anxiety around all the starters at Badwater who are like, oh shoot, dude, I don't know if I'm going to make it in 24 hours. Even the folks who finish in 20 to 21 hours, now all of a sudden we have a very high performing athlete who's relatively close to the cutoff the whole time, who might not make it if they have a nutritional issue. And that's the same exact thing at Barkley. You have a crew of elite athletes, folks like, Carl and Damian Hall and all these who are very high performing athletes, who the constant at Barkley is the awareness of time and the proximity of like, okay, the pressure and the threat of not making the cutoff is constantly there, and that's something that a lot of folks, maybe it's sort of a new variable for some folks at Barkley. It took me certainly a little bit of getting used to, back in 2012 and 2013.
Okay, cool. So you decide to run the Tour des Géants?
Yeah.
Is that the only 200 mile you've done?
Yeah, that's pretty much it. Yeah, that
Yeah.
was it. I did the two. I did those before 200 milers were cool, kind of. And now
Before
they're
Destination Trail
now.
exists.
Yeah. Now they're the new. Now they're the new 100 miler essentially. So no, I'm super grateful for all the work Candace has done. Really normalizing and spreading that sport. And Moab 240 just this past weekend actually, and yeah, it's been really neat seeing them kind of pop up everywhere. There's quite a few actually out here in Canada now too. And yeah, TDG in 2013. It was kind of continuing that like line of like, oh man, this sounds like a really difficult, crazy event. I got to go out here and try this thing. And yeah, I was, what the heck was I? I was 22, 23 years old at the time, and I mean, I finished Barkley in early April. 3 days later, I did a marathon race that I was totally garbage and trash for.
Wow.
2 weeks later, I did a 50 miler. Like 6 weeks later, I did a 100 miler. Then I chilled for like 3 weeks, and then I did another 100 miler, and then I chilled for like a month slash trained my butt off for TDG, and then did TDG. It was like a season that just like totally freaking wrecked me. And like looking back on the proximity of all those, I'm like, what the hell was I? That's all way too close. Yeah, I was just
Wow.
burning myself to crisps there,
But
But
how can you run a marathon few days after the Barkley?
yeah, no, man. Ask Andy Glaze, the guy who did what did he do? He did a Cocodona or whatever, and then he flew out and did another race. Or whatever. He flew from one race. He's done multiples of these back to back. But yeah, no, I was pretty messed up, man. So, but
Wow.
yeah, yeah.
So how does it feel to do a 200-mile race in high altitude?
Yeah. Tour de Geants, both years was super, super difficult. It's a crazy race. It's one I've dabbled around with, going back to and kind of question if it would be the same experience as to what I experienced with Barkley in 2023. But Tour de Geants is very different again than Barkley. It felt like a race the whole time. There's people, there's crowds, everyone cheering you on. It's a really big event in Courmayeur and stuff that time of year and all that. And I personally got to feel very accepted and loved by the Italians and stuff. I got to live with them a month and stuff before the race. I speak Spanish, but I like learned a very sloppy Spitalian among them, which was nice, and they accepted me enough or let me get by with my Spitalian. And yeah, I had a great time and stuff. It's fun. I mean, TDG's relentless, man. It's a 2,000 meter pass, and then you descend 2,000 meters, and you go back up 2,000 meters, and then back down 1,500 meters, and then up 1,800 meters. It's just one after. It's 26 of those in a row. So it's pretty dang brutal, man. But yeah.
Yeah, congrats for your podium the second time you've done
Oh,
it.
thank you. Yeah. I got a little bit better with sleep deprivation and practiced power hiking, power walking a lot and everything. And yeah, I really, again, that was another year where I talked about it kind of with Barkley in 2013, like that sort of chill, easygoing feeling. And that was again kind of what I felt at Tour de Geants in 2014, where I was able to place second. It was pretty like I was relatively easygoing most of that race in 2014 versus 2013. I was pretty hungry to do well there, and I thought, okay, oh man, I could be top three, top two. I could win this thing, and was kind of cocky again in 2013. I have to be careful with that cockiness. That cocky and overassuredness in the past, for me at least, flares up really quickly if I don't check myself. Even at this Cascade Crest 100 miler I did this past July, I probably cashed a check too early in the first 35 miles. I like to think that I'm fitter than I am, and that gets me in trouble. So yeah, yeah.
But I bet your sleep deprivation experience at Barkley would help you to do a TDG after.
Yeah, no, definitely. Going into the second night was not too much of an issue. I took 20-minute naps and stuff. But going into the third night, all of a sudden at TGG was something I had never done at Barkley. So that was novel for me. And that was like, oh my gosh, I have been out here so long. This is brutal. Yeah, that
So
got pretty
did
crazy.
you sleep in TDG?
Yeah, for a total of almost 2 hours. 20 minutes here, 15 minutes there, kind of thing. It was really interesting watching the race this year, this 2025 year, where I had been thinking this for the last like 10 years, but I hadn't seen anyone do this. The leader, his name is escaping me, the guy who eventually won the race. Um, it looked like on the course, at least I don't know for sure, but it looked like on the course he'd take these like hour and a half naps once in a while and fall back from first to like, I don't know, 10th or something like that. And then he would move right back to first after he took like a 90-minute nap. And it was like, huh, okay. So he's taking a legitimate sleep versus like these little 15 to 20-minute nothing breaks. And it looked like it worked well for him. I had always kind of thought that, you can't sleep during these. The competition's too tight. You got to go, and just deal with sleep deprivation. But I don't know. Yeah, the jury's still out there. It's a novel sport in that regard, and in where these events that you have that take let's say at least 3 days or near 3 days, sleep strategy is definitely an interesting kind of territory that I don't think we fully understand yet. So yeah.
Yeah. It's a different dimension compared to 100 milers.
Yeah. Where especially these days, the hundreds are getting one in 15 to 18 hours or something like that. And
Yeah.
you
Of
got
course.
folks like David Roach and Jim Walmsley doing them in 12 to 15 hours. And it's just, oh man, it's still light out when they finish. It's weird. So yeah.
So at the Barkley, you never sleep, I bet.
Barkley in 2013, I slept for 40 minutes. That can't happen anymore. The race is too difficult. They've changed it too much. There's too many climbing things. Unless you're absurdly fast, yeah, it's just not a thing. So yeah, yeah, I think it's too tight of a finish now for folks to sleep like that. So
Yeah. Cool. So you won Cruel Jewel.
yeah.
That's a super. That's another tough one.
Yeah, no, for sure. Again, kind of continuing that line of like I finished Tour de Geants and that in 2014, and then there was still that big part of my identity, and I think leaving TDG that was like, all right, well, I did TDG. What else has got a lot of gain and a lot of mountains and could be tough. And so Cruel Jewel, had like whatever it was, in meters, 10 or 11,000 meters a gain or something like that. And so I entered that one and yeah, had a really good race there and everything. Yeah.
Cool. Congrats.
Thanks, man.
And you have run a Fat Dog too.
Yeah. So that was in 2000. Cruel Jewel was 2016. Fat Dog was 2015. And that was maybe my third time up to British Columbia. My wife's from White Rock, Crescent Beach, so sort of southwest British Columbia, south of Vancouver, and we'd been out there a few times. And back when she was my girlfriend, and yeah, we had hiked the sort of the infamously beautiful West Coast Trail on Vancouver Island a week before Fat Dog, and then hung out with her dad, who lives over near more downtown Vancouver, and just enjoyed the area and stuff, and then finished off the great trip with racing Fat Dog, and Fat Dog was a blast. That was such a beautiful, cool course, and there was like gnarly lightning storms and all this the year that I did it, gnarly rain and everything. They get tough weather sometimes in August, and yeah, that was a really, really good. Again, I'll kind of describe that like the similarity between that race and my mindset and feel in 2013 with Barkley, 2014 with Tour de Giants, and how I felt again in what's it called, Fat Dog in 2015. It was just sort of this chill, easy going. I'm not in the lead right off the bat. I'm like hanging back in sixth or seventh, taking my time. And then I really pressed in the final quarter of the race, which is what I did at Fat Dog, and that worked out well for me. So yeah,
Yeah, yeah, you won this one.
yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
congratulations,
Oh,
man.
thank you, man. Yeah.
Cool. Um, and now I think you're living in British Columbia.
Yep, exactly. Yeah. So we're just about 30, 45 minutes outside of downtown Vancouver over in Langley, just kind of by the Fraser River. So yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of great place for training, I think, up there.
Oh, fantastic places. We got a track not too far from us and a really pretty right now in fall. It's all just beautiful with all the colors and leaves and everything. I'm having a great time up here. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Is there's a few races you didn't do that it's on your bucket list?
Oh man, that bucket list has changed a lot over the years. Yeah, but there's new ones popping up all the time too. That there's this one down in Costa Rica that my wife and I, so my wife Jade Bellsberg, who she just ran for Canada and was helped at the World Mountain Trail Running Championships. She helped the team win third in the uphill race out in Canfranc, and so she's a phenomenal athlete, really really great runner, and we were thinking forever ago about doing this Costa Rica. What is it? It's like a 5-day stage race or something like that down in Costa Rica, Costa Rica Challenge or something like that. That's what it's called. And, that one sounded kind of fun, and I don't know. I'm really enjoying local races lately. Local low key races, man. I'm kind of enjoying those a lot right now. There's exotic places and stuff, but like there's UTMF over in Japan. But at the same time, I'm like, I think I'd like to just go visit Japan outside of a race and just rather than like it sounds maybe snobby, but like rather than do the 100 miler that is the assigned course, I want to go look and see like outside of a race. Oh, okay, there's these five like really pretty 20-mile runs I could do in Japan, and I'm just going to go do these back to back to back without having to worry about a race. If I come visit Quebec, I'm going to go run wherever. I don't want to be assigned to a specific route on a race, but that's me currently right now, and that may change tomorrow. So yeah.
Yeah, your hunger of the most difficult race
Oh, I'm
changed a
chilled out,
lot.
man. I'm 35. I've chilled out. I'm easy. Yeah, easier. So yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what about your coaching? How did you start this?
Yeah. Man, I was it's 2015. I was at the time making my income from a tiny bit of running. A tiny bit of it came from a stipend from a sponsor at the time. And then otherwise, I was living with my parents' house, or at my parents' house, and then listing my stepdad's overstock comic books online to flip them and turn them over and make money. And and was doing that through eBay, and I really didn't like the job. Didn't it was just something to make money, and we were wandering around a what was it, like a thrift store essentially, looking for Pyrex containers and little plastic containers that you could buy for like $2, and then if you sold them on eBay, you could sell them for like $10 or $15. And so we were just looking to make a quick flip with something, and as we were doing that, my wife Jade was hey, you ever thought about coaching? I see a lot of people do coaching and stuff and do pretty well with that. And I was like, oh no, never thought of it. I'll maybe give that a shot. And so started coaching back in 2015, and yeah, really have gotten after it since then. So I've been coaching now, geez, for 10 years now, which is a long time, and I was originally Lucky 13 coaching, kind of named after being the 13th Barkley finisher, and then got away from that when my wife came on and began coaching with me. We rebranded it Lightfoot Coaching, which is named after one of our rabbits and one of our more favorite artists, Gordon Lightfoot, who's a Canadian artist, yeah, our coaching's it's been a lot of fun. We work with athletes kind of of all ranges. I've worked with folks who've done well at Barkley before. I've worked with folks who wanted to try Barkley for their first time. I've worked with folks who were beginners and have no idea what Barkley is. And so sort of the whole spectrum of things. And I really, really love coaching and everything and working with athletes of all ranges. And I guess most recently, about 2 years ago, I graduated with my master's in my master's in sports psychology and sports and performance psychology, and I've been a lot more into the psychological, mental side of things, both with athletes that I've worked with in the past and present people that I work with and stuff, and kind of the mindset and psychology that it takes to finish these things and develop a healthy relationship with the sport. And it's been a really, really fun career.
Cool. So I bet your athletes are more about trail running than road running.
A little bit more oriented towards that. I've trained, I've worked, having done the coaching now for so many years. I've worked with folks who have been mountaineers. I've worked with folks who are just like army background. I've worked with folks who are, oh, hey, I do lacrosse, but I want to get aerobically fit this summer. Can you train me? And so, I've worked with a diversity, but if I was to just throw a dart, at my athletes, I guess, which I wouldn't do, I would probably hit a trail runner. So they're mostly trail athletes.
Okay, cool. So, when you prepare for events, do you do some preparation like musculation, or do you?
Yeah. My wife and I do quite a bit of strength training and everything, and sauna, the uphill treadmill, kind of all the trendy things and stuff like that. We're all into those. We just started doing she got us some broccoli shots, so like concentrated broccoli sprouts, and apparently there's a chemical compound in those that's really supposed to help you with speed work. So that's our new thing that we're trying. But yeah, I'm all about the trying some of those 1% things, and certainly strength training is more than a 1% thing, but kind of David Roach is a great coach and a guy who drew out a little pyramid of different modalities and things to get down, either as an athlete or when coaching people, and the way he tiered it out was really nice in terms of focus on your health and your sleep and all that. And then on top of health, then you build training and kind of aerobic volume. And then on top of that, you put speed. And then on top of that, maybe you put strength training or resilience. And then on top of that, then you have heat adaptation and uphill treadmill and doubles and that kind of, and it's this little pyramid of, things to get down. And so, if that answers your question.
Okay, cool. So, do you do a strength program for your athlete too?
Yes, yeah. Both myself and Jade have. I'm a certified strength and conditioning coach with CSCS, and Jade's got a personal training background as well. So yeah, happy to do any of that with athletes for sure.
Okay, cool. What's the best place for contact you for?
So we're lightfootcoaching.ca. So that's our active and live website. Or you can find us on Instagram at lightfootcoaching. That'd be fantastic to contact us through that. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. I will put this in the description.
Cool. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Nick. That's so amazing, the course you did, your determination and resilience to finish the Barkley.
Thank you so much.
Very impressive.
Yeah.
Did you were the younger finisher of the Barkley?
Yeah. I don't think anyone's tested my record yet or tried to come and be younger. That one may stand for a little while. It might not. There may be some 18 or 19-year-old kid who just knocks everyone out of this world, records are meant to be broken. And it was cool to do that so young. It's nice. It cleared my 30s for other things. So, yeah.
Yes, but congratulations. That's very impressive.
Yeah,
and
thank you.
Thank you for your time.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you for having me on and everything. Great to talk with you.
Yeah, that's my pleasure. Thanks.